Hey everyone, it's Caitlin with Glitter Chimp here tonight doing a special live tumbler tutorial on the tumbler business and what it takes to get into glitter business and kind of like the ins and outs of the glitter game with tumblers. So what we're going to do is kind of hang tight for a minute. I'm going to finish getting everything together and then we will jump on into this tutorial and education on tumbler making. So jump on, say hi, let me know you're here, and we'll get started with my full-blown list of notes of everything to show you guys on making a successful glitter business. And it's gonna, or it's not glitter business, sorry, tumbler business. So get ready for a super fun night. I'm going to be giving you guys a ton of information. So if you are new to making tumblers, I honestly highly recommend you get a pen and paper so you can take notes. Wow. Hey, everybody. So glad everyone's jumping in. So yeah, we're going to talk about stuff for those of you who are brand new to this, to making tumblers, as well as some stuff that maybe those of you who've been making cups for a long time, maybe not think about on a daily basis. So, hey from Idaho, hello, up in Idaho. I love Idaho, been there many a time. Love up in the Moscow area. It's our favorite place to go. So anyways, we'll go ahead and get started. So anyways, for those of you who don't know me, who are new to the channel, my name's Caitlin and I own Glitter Chimp, which you can see some of our glitter behind me on our new amazing glitter wall. And I started making tumblers over 2 years ago and has been nonstop ever since. So, oh good, Molly's from Moscow. Sorry, that's just kind of funny. It's a small town. Anyways, so what we're going to do tonight is just start with the very, very basics of what you need to start making tumblers. And this is that time of year where a lot of you guys are going to be joining the tumbler groups and, you know, wanting to get as much information as you possibly can. So that's why I do this video, so that those of you who are brand new can know everything you need to know. So in order to start, there are certain things you need to be able to start making tumblers. The first thing I have to tell you guys to do is research. You need to really research everything you can. Learn about glitter, learn about tumblers and different companies that make tumblers. Learn about different styles of tumblers you can make. Learn about the different types of epoxy and everything. And watch a ton of videos. Just basically quietly sit in groups and stalk the pages to see what people are making. And you'll end up learning a lot just from doing that. I spent about 3 months probably doing research on tumblers before I actually started making a cup. And like I said, I've been doing it for about a little over 2 years now, making tumblers. And it's just been crazy how quickly I went from starting out to full-blown having 40 and 50 cup orders. So the other things you're going to need are, of course, glitter. You are going to need, oh, thank you. We love our new wall. It's so pretty. We'll do a full video, like post of it later on Facebook. Anyway, so you're going to need glitter. You're going to need the mica powders, the glow powders. You're going to definitely need the alcohol inks. Matte spray paint is going to be a huge thing you're going to use constantly. Sandpaper. You're going to need gloves, tumblers of different sizes, a great space to work in, as well as your epoxy, Mod Podge, your paint brushes, your cup turner. Now, you don't have to have a cup turner to make tumblers. You can do different methods with the epoxy so that you don't have to use a cup turner. Also, you're going to need acetone, vinyl cutter. I mean, there's so many different supplies you will need. But one thing that a lot of people don't tell you will need is Dawn dish soap. That's for those moments where I've heard from a friend, you need them to get epoxy out of your hair and off of your hands. So Dawn dish soap is a very key thing for tumbler making. So we're going to jump on in this and start with probably my favorite topic about tumbler making, which is glitter. So what we're going to do, hey Tina, is go through the basics of glitter. And basically, I'm going to talk to you guys about the types, the kinds, the sizes, and the different things you can do with the glitter on tumblers. So you have your basic glitter, which I have several examples here. I just pulled random stuff so you guys can see them. So your basic glitter is going to be like this. There's not really anything to them other than they're opaque, solid colored, and they sparkle really, really well. So these are just some different sizes of basic glitter, which I'll go over the sizes in a minute. Nothing about glitter is basic. So true. The other type of colors you're going to find are what we refer to here at Glitter Temp is a rainbow glitter. Other companies call it iridescent. These are going to be translucent glitters that you can actually change the appearance of the glitter itself on a tumbler by changing the base coat of a glitter, of the cup. So with different colors, you can do different effects with it. With like a white one, a lot of people, there's a term that they use, which I can't say because it is trademarked, but you can use this to do different things where you can change the appearance of the glitter with one color. A lot of my customers use Tears of My Enemies, and they do a rainbow base coat of glitter, of paint on the cup, and then they cover the whole thing in Tears of My Enemies, and it gets an amazing effect. And there's a lot of different glitters out there that will do that. So these are just different colors that come in like that, and like I said, they're translucent, so you can pick up a lot of colors off of what your base coat is. And that is the rainbow ones. Another kind is your holographic. These are going to give you the most, in my opinion, the best effect. I love holographic glitter. I just love how it gets that really nice sparkle to it. And so these are just some of the different types of holographic glitter that we have available. And I just realized, is this backwards to you? It's not? Okay, it's just backwards to me?
Yeah.
Woo! Okay, good. I was like worried for a minute. Anyways, so this is your holographic glitter. It's going to give you the best sparkle, in my opinion. Also, let's see. There's other different colors too. There's UV glitter that you can get. And this one is one, I don't have my UV flashlight because the batteries have died. But UV glitter, so UV changes in the UV light. So they're great for like summertime cups. But like this one's a blue to purple. It turns purple in UV. And we have a bunch of different ones for that. You're also going to have your color shift glitter. Your color shift glitter is going to be more expensive typically than your basics, your holographic, and your rainbow glitter. And that's because it's more expensive to make. We carry 3 different kinds of color shift glitter. The most common kind is a chunky, which is a 1/24th cut of glitter. And if you notice, it's got a nice gold. This is Dragon's Breath, so it's got a really nice reddish gold color, and it shifts to a green. One of my favorite ones are the ultra fines. So this one is called Snake in the Grass, which is a blue to green color shift. And this one is so gorgeous. Love this one. And also comes in mixes. So this is one of our most popular ones. This is Jinx. And this one is a nice purple to blue. We also have, we have a bunch of these. These are super popular. All of ours are named something kind of, I guess, sinister in a way. We like naming them that because they're more fun. So you have those. And then you have the mixes. The mixes are going to be literally a mix of every single different type of cut, color to make amazing different mixes. One of my favorite ones is Easter Egg Hunt, which is a dot mix. And these are just they kind of just give you something a little extra with your tumblers. There's also shapes, different shape glitters, which also are we have scissors that we get a lot, that we sell a ton of for hairdressers. This is one of our favorite ones in the warehouse, which is Love You a Latte. And they're little coffee cups with little hearts cut out in them, and they're super cute. And those are really fun because, you know, you can get shapes for just about anything nowadays. We have ballerinas, which are great for dancers. For kid cups especially, we have Mickey Mouse heads. Those are super cute on tumblers. And I'm trying to think of what others. Honeybees. Literally shapes are endless when it comes to glitter. As long as it can be cut, it can be made. Other types of glitter are glow in the dark. I don't have any glow in the dark here with me, but that's okay because I can't turn off the lights because everyone's here working late tonight. All of our glitter is Glitter Chimp glitter, so glitterchimp.com is where all of this is. So as far as the sizes go for glitter, these are important because for some people will say certain sizes are more difficult to work with. I actually find that the bigger the glitter, the easier it is to work with, but that's because of the different methods that I use. So I'm just going to show it to you in holographic glitter because that's what I grabbed. So your ultra fine glitter is going to be a super fine cut. This is typically going to be in a 1/128th size. These are great for doing ombres on your tumblers. Typically on a tumbler, it's going to, wait, hold on. Let me grab, here we go. This is my special glitter cup. So like up here, this one has ultra fine and chunky in it on the top. Let me see. Okay, here we go. This is an ultra fine glitter here. This is Pearl with Easter egg hunt actually. So typically though, this will be what you use for like ombre with ultra fine glitter. Next you have chunky, which when we carry it, it's a 1/124th cut. Sorry. Yeah. I can't math. Math is hard. So this is your chunky glitters of 1/24th. These are great for even making your own mixes with. And then also we have jumbo glitter that we carry. Our size jumbo is 1/8 cut. They're great because you can, like, on this tumbler, on the bottom here, this is a mix of chunky and jumbo disco ball. So it gives you that really nice sparkle of holographic glitter. And then the chunky glitter is also up here on the top, which is deep space chunky with deep space ultra fine. And yes, this is I'm a glitter snob, my glitter tumbler. So there's that. But then you can actually get smaller than these two, than ultra fine, which we carry two different sizes. So we have the Divas collection. So this is Doris. And a lot of people use these with the tack it method. So this is Doris. Doris is our Diva line. This is a 1/500th cut, which is the second smallest size cut you can get. And it gives a really nice holographic effect to it. And then the smallest size, which is our Gangster line, this is Jessie James, and it is a 1/700th cut. These are great because you can put these sizes in the spritzer bottles, and you spray them on the tumbler whenever you're making one to help with ombres and stuff to make them much more smooth. So that's those. Let's see. So now I'll talk to you guys about the difference in the types of glitter, which is craft grade or polyester grade. Everything that we carry here is polyester grade, which means it's cosmetic grade, it's solvent resistant. Craft grade glitter is going to be what you find at Hobby Lobby, Michael's, or Walmart. It's going to be a very thick cut glitter, and yeah, yes, you can spray glitter using the glitter. We have little spray bottles, or you can put them in the little shaker things, but we're out of this shakers, I think, right now. I don't know. If you're wondering who I'm looking at, by the way, offside here, it's Keely, who is helping me answer questions. She's helping me in case I miss anything. So yeah, but you can put the glitter in these little spray bottles. We do sell them as spritzer bottles. Are you gonna grab one?
Yeah.
Cool, we're gonna see if we have one. But you can just spritz it on to a tumbler. You can use it for makeup and spray your makeup on your face. So But yeah, so craft glitter is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be, you're going to need a lot more of it to do coverage on a tumbler versus polyester, which will lay flat for you pretty much straight away. I don't know if we have any more spritzer bottles. We may though. She'll find them if they're here. Oh, sweet. Okay, so here's a spritzer bottle. They're specially designed to do powders. So I can't believe I'm gonna do this, but I'm gonna go to Doris. Doris is a favorite. Okay, so when you do a spritzer bottle, you literally just take the glitter. I don't have a funnel. Old school way, using my hand. Sorry. Okay, so now I've made a mess. It's all over me. So you just put it in the spritzer bottle. Oh boy. Okay, so spritzer bottle. I'm gonna try to do this. I feel like I'm doing a makeup tutorial now. So it just kind of sparkly spritzies, and you can see that it's kind of pink now in my hand. So yeah, that's with the Diva, and you can just do little spritzers, and the cool thing is you can clean these out, dry them out, and reuse them for multiple different types of glitter. So that's using a spritzer bottle for those, and you can still do ultra fine glitter in it too. So you don't have to buy the more expensive cuts of glitter. You can just use your basic ultra fines, and that'll work just as well. So everything's covered in glitter. I know it's nothing new for us. So, okay, the next thing, which is a huge thing for me, which is buying glitter by volume versus by weight. We sell our glitter by weight, and I will explain to you why. Because to us, our customers are important, so we want to make sure our customers have the best thing we can give them. So we sell by weight, and here's why. This jar of glitter is a 2 ounce by volume jar of glitter. This is what you will get with 2 ounces by volume of glitter. We sell our glitter by 2 ounces by weight. This jar is 2 ounces by weight. So in it, you will get a lot more glitter for the price. And I wanted to show it to you guys so you can see the difference between a 2 ounce jar and this is what is a 4 ounce jar. So you're getting almost twice as much glitter for the same price. Now, the reason we sell by weight is because no matter what, you always get the same amount of glitter, because you have other types of glitter, such as our glass ceiling jar. This is 2 ounces by weight still. This, however, has to be put into an 8 ounce jar to get the volume of the glitter into one jar so that it's 2 ounces by weight. So 2 ounces by volume or 2 ounces by weight. And this is, this is an 8 ounce jar. This is a 4 ounce jar. So this is why we sell it to you guys by weight, so that you get more bang for your buck. This will not, a 2 ounce by volume jar will not last you very long, which is again why we do by weight, because then you guys benefit from being able to use the most glitter you possibly can without having to buy more. And if y'all can hear that, it's raining, just so you know. Make a warehouse, it rains, it gets loud. So that is why we sell it by weight, not volume. And another question I saw a lot of people posting on Facebook to know is how much glitter to use in a to make a tumbler. And I really wish I could give a definitive answer for that question, but it's really hard to say because there's a lot of factors that go into putting glitter on a tumbler. Some cups you won't use as much glitter as you would others. So for example, like this type of a tumbler, this is a 32 ounce skinny. I can't remember which size it is. I don't remember. But with this type of a design, you're going to use more of a mixology than you normally would to do an ombre type cut because it's on here twice, versus something like a serape tumbler where you use less glitter because you're only using it for a little bit. And so it just depends on the type of tumbler, the size of the tumbler, and the design you're going for on how much glitter you're actually going to use on a cup. So it's really hard for me to say definitively how much glitter someone would use per cup. The other thing I can say is that if you don't buy from me specifically, make sure you're buying glitter from a trusted dealer. A lot of glitter companies nowadays especially just pop up out of nowhere, and then you start to hear about them not having fast shipping times, or they're not shipping at all, and then they just disappear from Facebook. So just make sure you do your research and buy from someone that you trust. Even if it's not from Glitter Chimp, just make sure it's someone that you do trust and that it is a reputable dealer. Different dealers do sell at volume instead of weight, and you just want to make sure you do the research from your glitter company on how long it's going to take for them to ship it, how quickly it's going to get to you, and where the best value is. And then also, like, different glitter companies, like we do one, a subscription box, which is a bi-monthly one, so you get a new box every 2 months. Yes, Alexis, yeah, you can. I do sell tumblers. We put them on our website from time to time. They're usually the ones that are from videos that are not finished. And Keely is over here smiling at me because I have a huge, like, stack of tumblers that are unfinished that need to be sold. And I just don't. I have a hard time letting go. They're so pretty. So pretty. Oh, sorry. So anyways, so yeah, so just make sure you buy from a dealer that you trust. We do our best to make sure that our customers are number one. And I'm not saying that companies out there don't do that, but it's possible. So yeah, so we have the subscription boxes that we do offer bi-monthly. They're about to go out for this month, for January, and we're really excited because for those of you who don't know, it's a total theme this time of pastel colors. So we're really excited. Otherwise, the different uses for the glitter on the tumblers, there are so many different styles of glitter tumblers that can be made. I mean, there's your peekaboo cups, your ombres. I do the modified swirl, which everyone loves this tumbler. So I'll just show it for a minute because it's my favorite. This is actually one of the first cups I made, which was made for myself. So, yeah, this is a modified swirl, which I have a tutorial on that on YouTube, as well as you've got your peekaboo tumblers, which this is the honeybee cups that we do. And I mean, I sell so many of these, it's ridiculous. And they're fun because you can do them in purple too. This is ones that my daughter helped me make. She designed. The serape tumblers, ombres, the beach tumblers. It's just insane the different things you can do with glitter. So, yeah, I'm trying to see some questions. All of our rainbow glitters are the iridescent glitters. We just refer to them as rainbow because sometimes iridescent can get confusing to different people, just based on the different types of glitter. Because some people actually call holographic glitter iridescent, and it just gets kind of confusing. So, so yeah, our iridescent glitter is rainbow glitter. Okay, so that covers glitter. Oh my gosh, so much glitter. Next, moving on. We're going to talk about the mica powders and glow powders and chameleon powders. One second. I have to grab a chameleon powder so y'all can see them. We will get to epoxy very soon. I'm just kind of going through the list of like each supply you need, and then I'll go through. Don't worry, epoxy is going to be another big one to discuss. So, yeah, I'm trying to read. So we don't have workshops yet. However, we do have another warehouse location that we're going to start doing classes and different tutorials and stuff in that facility very soon. Probably looking towards February when we'll start doing that. As well as, again, we'll have another warehouse sale soon as well. I'm just trying to lock down the date before we announce when that's going to be, but it'll be in the spring. So mica powders can be used to make some seriously amazing different tumblers. This is one that I did that everyone in here says it looks like a planet, which I love it. It's a cool little wine glass. But so mica powders, you mix them with your epoxy and they make really cool swirls. They do great for like sunset tumblers. Oh, it's right here. Also, you can make some really amazing galaxy tumblers, which this is one that I did a tutorial on for the modified cells tumbler tutorial. But so micas can do some amazing stuff for tumblers to give you really cool effects. Your micas are going to be actual powder. They're made of mica. One of the ones we carry is Duchess, which is a really nice white with a little hint of pink to it. You also are going to be able to find glow powder, which glows in the dark. One of our most popular ones is Solstice, which is a pink to orange glow in the dark powder. And I just saw a question about wholesale. We do have wholesale. If you go on the website, you can actually sign up to be a wholesale dealer with us through the website. So another type of powder is our chameleon powder line. These are amazing. So let's see. If you look right here where the blue is, it's actually a chameleon. It goes blue to purple. They make really great effects when you use a black background. Otherwise, if you do it with a white background, it's going to give you a really nice white, effect. So those are mica powders, and they make amazing mica flows with them. Also, which is doing like this, which I'll do a tutorial on those because those are always really fun. So those are using mica powders. Other types of things that you can do is, I don't have a tumbler with that on it. Alcohol inks, which are alcohol inks. I'm not affiliated with this company, but this is the inks that you can buy at Michael's or Hobby Lobby. You can also find these on Amazon. But these are Tim Holtz alcohol inks. These work really well. Actually, I do have alcohol inks. For when you're doing the peekaboo tumbler. This is one that I do. This is using alcohol inks to do the honeycomb effect, which is using sunshine and honey. I think it's honey. I'm not sure what the orange is now. It's been a while. I know the yellow is sunshine. But so this is using alcohol inks, and they give a really cool effect. Plus, you can add regular rubbing alcohol to it to really get the color really light.
You probably say in the other video.
I do. In the other video, I definitely say. I really want to say it's called honeycomb. I have no idea. I do have a tutorial on the honeybee tumbler. This, by the way, is not something I recommend for beginners. I would do a few cups first before you try this one because it's quite time consuming. So those are inks. As far as paints go, you are going to want to buy a lot of different types of paint. With paint, you're gonna be able to do different. Oh, geez, hold on. I'm so sorry. Something else that you can do with alcohol inks are the wood grain tumblers. This does not have epoxy on it, so that's why it looks so flat. But you can do the wood grain effect on a tumbler to do with alcohol inks, and that's what's really popular, especially for men, is the wood grain tumblers. So sorry, it's just sitting like staring at my face. Okay, so paint. Acrylic paint's cool because you can do dirty pours with them on a tumbler. And it makes a really cool effect. My daughter loves doing those and has a couple cups of her own that she has done. And it's less stress on me because she's not touching glitter and spilling it everywhere. So yeah, those are fun. And plus you can do like little drips where it kind of wraps around the tumbler to make a marble effect. Spray paint, you're going to definitely need different base coats for spray paint. I recommend using matte spray paint. Woo! Everybody's awake. She did it. Olivia looks at me and asks me, well, who did it? Also, the fun things about spray paint is that you can do hydro dipping in a bucket. So this tumbler here, this is my mom's cup. This is doing hydro dip with, someone opened a can of glitter. I think someone dropped a can of glitter. This is doing hydro dipping with spray paint. which is awesome. I mean, this is great. This is all using matte spray paint. So, yeah, so you can get really cool effects just doing, you know, spray paint. And this does have some glitter on the top, which is the Divas and the Gangsters, which is, this one is Machine Gun Kelly, and, sorry, Machine Gun Kelly and Barbara to make this sparkly effect on top. Sorry. Live video. Woohoo! My daughter just almost face planted in the warehouse. Okay, so, okay, oh my gosh, tumblers. So for making, oh my God, jeez. Okay, so tumblers. There are several different companies out there that you can buy your tumbler blanks from. I personally only use Hog tumblers. There's not any really specific reason why. It's just who I have basically attached myself to, because I think I get the best deal from them and they have fast shipping. But that's who you're going to get. You know, you're going to buy tumblers from. You can buy Arctic, Yeti. Yeti is a little expensive and looks a little too expensive for my taste and for most of my customers' taste. You can also do Ozark tumblers, which is made by Walmart. There's one more and I'm forgetting it. Steel Magnolia is the other tumbler company. Haha. But there's, I mean, then there are others. But so like me, I use Hog. You can join their Facebook group, which is the Stainless Steel Depot. And she posts lots of crazy deals on there. But so this is your blank tumbler. This is where your sandpaper comes into play because you need to prep tumblers so that it gets, there's like a weird coating that's on here. And that way also your Mod Podge, your epoxy, your paint sticks to the tumbler the best. Definitely get your stainless cups from a good dealer that you know you can trust. Be careful of scams. There's a possible chance of that on Facebook. So that's what I use as Hog. If you're just starting out, I recommend buying the bundle packs from a company just because you're going to go through tumblers pretty quickly. Because once you kind of start getting into it, you'll be able to knock cups out so quickly. It's going to blow your mind how fast they go. What?
Do you have to sand all of the cups before you spray paint?
Yes. Oh yes, you want to prep everything. Otherwise what happens is if you have a customer that drops their tumbler, you can kind of patch some of them. Otherwise, someone's typing in Morse code.
I know.
I don't know what that means. I can't read Morse code. I just know it is. So anyways, there's, all he says is SOS. What grit sandpaper? I use actually, can you do me a favor? My sanding sponge is by my light box. Can you grab that for me? So, I use a sanding sponge. I know this sounds totally crazy. But this is what I use. It's a sanding block that I get at Hobby Lobby, at Lowe's or Home Depot. And, this has a really good, it's a medium grit. It doesn't have a count. It's just medium, which you can see, medium. And I like these because I can get them wet because you want to wet sand your tumblers. But so I use these because I can grip it a little better. So this is what I use, is the medium ones. And there's a train, in case anybody's wondering. Can't get rid of the train. So that's what I use. Wet sand means you wet the tumbler. It's basically so you're not having all of the dust from sanding getting in your face, lungs, and stuff. So I wet sand so that it gets them clean, and it's just better for your cup. That way, but it's mostly so you're not breathing in stuff and it not getting all over your hands, because you are taking off a coat of the cup. My daughter's in a box over there. You're in the store. Okay, Joseph. Let me know what you need, and I'll try my best to help you. I don't, so, I I don't know what's happening right now. Okay, so that's tumblers. So next is epoxy. And so I personally, so just so y'all know, I'm in Houston, well, north of Houston, in the Houston area. And I use FX epoxy. I buy it by the gallon. This is my FX standard epoxy in a gallon jug. I've just personally use it for, I have epoxy on my hands. So I buy it by the gallon because we do make a lot of cups in here, and especially for doing videos, and the staff makes cups and everything. So I buy it by the gallon. I use FX epoxy because for me it works the best here with our humidity and heat. Especially during the summer when we're working in the garage, like in our garage when we make cups, or here in the warehouse where it's not, you know, it's not air conditioned or anything. It soon will be, but for now it's not. So that's what I use as FX. A great starter epoxy would be Alumilite, which you can get at Hobby Lobby or Michael's, and it's one of the better ones. I stopped using it because I wanted to switch to something that I thought was a little bit better. Because during the summer I had issues with Alumilite and the humidity here in Houston. I have tried Promarine. I am allergic to Promarine, so I quit using Promarine and switched to FX. Haven't had any issues. Love FX. But there's a ton of different epoxies. Some epoxies work better in different regions. It just depends on where you are. For me, I like FX the best, but that's just my opinion. It's kind of like comparing Ford to Chevy. Everyone's going to have their favorite brand that they like to use. So that is epoxy. As far as brands go, I do think it's extremely, extremely important for everyone to be fully aware of the warnings that come with using epoxy. Every bit of epoxy you get will come with warnings listed all right here. It's extremely important that you read them and be aware of the possible effects of using epoxy. It is a chemical and it should be treated as such. You should wear the proper ventilation masks. Make sure you're working in a very well ventilated room. Do not work in your house with your doors closed and the windows closed and no fans. It's very important that you don't do that for health reasons, because it may not just affect you, it could affect your family, your pets. There are lots of different groups, like support groups, I guess, for different types of epoxy issues with people who have different allergies. There's the one group that I recommend to everybody is called Epoxy Is Not My Friend. They're really good in there about explaining to people the best ways to prevent any type of issues health-wise with using epoxy. So just make sure when you do use epoxy, you are aware of the different types of health issues that are involved with it. Which is why you wear things like a mask. You can wear the PPE mask for ventilation. Always use gloves. I use these that I buy these at Uline. You can also get these get this type of glove from Harbor Freight for like really, really cheap. Amazon. Let's see. I mean, really anywhere. But I mean, some people you can use latex gloves. It just depends. These are just the kind that I feel that I use because they don't make my hands get sweaty, and they make them in my size gloves, which are important because I'm really tall, so I need a bigger glove. So yes, that's what I use. Also, do not steal them from your doctor's offices. I always see people posting that they're going to steal them when they go to the doctor. Don't steal gloves from your doctor's office. Go buy them. So these are what I use. They're great because you can just throw them away and you don't have to worry about them, and they're super duper cheap. See, people are laughing because they've seen people say that they're going to steal them from their doctor's office. Well, the epoxy cannot cure the humidity. So Jessica, I use FX because I live in Houston, so it's humid here. 98% of the time. So that's what I use, and I haven't had any issues with it as far as curing with the humidity. If you're having issues in a high humidity environment, just double check that your epoxy is stirred properly and measured to the right A and B amounts. But like I said, that's why I use FX. One of our group moderators, Remy, she uses, I believe, Promarine. And she hasn't had any issues with it, with the humidity. I always had issues with Alumilite, and then I stopped using Promarine because I was allergic. So that's kind of like a basic thing for epoxy. I do use the pumps. They are 1 ounce each pump for snow cones, actually, for the syrup. And I buy them on Amazon. I'll have to post a link for those, but they're great for that because they're already measured for me. So let's see here, bubbles in the epoxy. Okay, so for bubbles in your epoxy, you're going to want to get a heat gun or a torch. Can you grab my torch? Mm-hmm. It's top shelf. I used to use a heat gun. I now use a torch. This is a torch that I got at Bed Bath & Beyond because I had a 20% off coupon. This is my torch that I use. It's butane. It's made for making creme brulee. And I use this to get out the micro bubbles in the epoxy. And it is amazing. See? Super fire. So I actually do not stir my epoxy slowly because I use this afterwards and it gets all the bubbles out. There's also the different types of machines that you can buy now that are apparently people started making that will stir epoxy for you. I make epoxy in much larger batches when I make cups because I'm usually making like 5 or 10 at a time. But there are actual companies out there that make a epoxy mixing tool that will stir it for you very slowly so you don't have as many bubbles. I have burnt epoxy multiple times. I try not to. Usually what I do is I actually will let it spin for about 10 to 15 minutes. And as it's spinning, just lightly use the torch over it to pop the bubbles. You don't want to get too close. You just want it enough to get the heat out. And I started doing that because I actually like to watch videos of people making epoxy tables. And that's what they use as a torch. So I was like, hey, I get to play with fire. Let's melt some stuff. Just be very careful because epoxy is flammable if you catch it on fire. And it will smell bad. But again, that was a friend of mine, not me. I've never done that before. Okay, so as far as the dimples go, when you have a coat of, do I have any that are, everyone will dimple their cups. That's bound to happen. Nope, not that one. Well, anyways, so here, if you have a cup where you put on your coat of epoxy and it dimples, the best thing I can tell you to do is sand it and make sure that you have all of the alcohol that's on, or not alcohol, the oils and stuff from your hands are off the tumbler. Light sand, and then put on another coat of epoxy. Usually the dimpling is either caused from overheating your epoxy, which causes it to pull, or the oils from your fingers are on the glitter or on your epoxy or vinyl, and it causes the epoxy to actually pull away from where the oil is. So I always actually will wipe mine down with rubbing alcohol first, and then we'll give it a little light sand and then clean it again before I put on my final coat of epoxy, just to try to prevent that from happening. But it does happen to everyone. Sometimes it just happens. When I actually first started making tumblers, there was a good probably 2-month period where I literally almost stopped doing tumblers because my cups kept having issues with cure time and where I didn't mix my epoxy the right way, and the humidity was killing me. It was in the middle of the summer. There's just a bunch of different things were happening for like 2 months straight, but I just kept with it, and it worked out fine. So you can order FX epoxy on Amazon. They also have an Etsy page, which is usually where I order it from, but I'll post the link for that later as well. workspace is super duper important. So yeah, workspace is important. Sorry, I'm reading stuff and it's blowing my mind here. So I'm trying to see here. Oh, okay. So how to make glitter lay flat. I use only the epoxy method for making tumblers because when I use the Mod Podge method, typically you end up with glitter that does stick up. And I don't have any unfinished tumblers over here. Oh, here we go, actually. Haha. So this is using the epoxy method, which as it's spinning, it'll make your glitter lay flat. Now on the bottom here, I don't know if you can see this. There we go. See? I've got some pieces that are sticking up, right? Oh God. See? You can see it on my hand. Usually it's going to be on your edges here. You will want to put a coat of epoxy on it so that it covers it really well, and then do a light sand of this. I use a Dremel for sanding whenever it comes to like little edges and stuff, just so that it comes smooth, and then you can just clean it with, like I clean it with Dawn dish soap again, just to make sure everything's off of it, and then we'll re-epoxy for the final coat. So like right now, this tumbler just needs a very light sanding down here on this edge for just a couple little places, and then I would clean it, put on my vinyl decal, and one last coat of epoxy, and it would be done. FX does not have a very strong odor at all. That's why I like it. Pro Marine was really strong for me. I have not used that brand. I haven't. Joy, who's one of our moderators, did use it, and I can ask her to kind of, I think she shared a kind of like a review on it and what she thought of it. I haven't used it personally yet. So for workspace though, you want to make sure you're working in a very well ventilated area. Also, you need to make sure to have your workspace be in an area that children cannot go, pets cannot go, so that they do not touch things they shouldn't touch or spill glitter. So that's really important. You also need a big enough space where you can keep all of your vinyl, your glitter, everything. It's really important for you to have space to work, because if you get too cluttered, it will completely get you disorganized. With your orders will get out of place and out of order, and you can lose orders. So space is important, and organization is super duper key. Other things that you will need to, that I think are super duper important, is research. Did you see any questions that I totally missed? Tell me.
How many layers of epoxy do you apply after decaling the cup?
One. You typically do not want to go over 3 to 4 coats of epoxy, because then the cup gets too heavy. So for me, when I make a tumbler, I'm just gonna grab this one again. The first coat is epoxy, followed by glitter on top as it's wet. Second coat of epoxy on the top to seal the glitter. Once that sets, I put on my vinyl decal, and then I will epoxy it for the final coat, so 3 coats. Sometimes with wood grain tumblers, you can get away with just doing 2 coats of epoxy, even 1. As long as everything goes well, then it's possible. But yeah, so typically you don't want to go over 4 coats of epoxy just because of the heavy weight of it. It's possible that you can. I mean, you can put as many layers on as you want, but I wouldn't recommend going over 4 coats of epoxy. For the how thick of the final coat, I still try to make my coats as thin as I can. You just want to be able to, as you're putting, now, okay, so I use my hands, I use gloves. I don't want to be able to feel any of the vinyl when I'm putting that layer of epoxy on. So it's a little bit more than I would put on in between layers, but definitely you want a good coat, just not too thick of a coat, if that makes any sense whatsoever.
They're asking about turners.
Yes, we do sell cup turners, Michael. And the kits are online. The kits are online. We're out of stock right now. We got cleaned out during Christmas, but we're working on getting more added to the site. Hopefully next week, right?
How do you clean the inside? How do you try to keep as much epoxy from getting on the inside of cups? And when you do, how do you clean them?
So, none of you can see the table that I'm sitting at, but I am not the cleanest when it comes to epoxying things because it's all over the table. I do try to keep it out of the cup, but I do get it inside a lot. And I use a X-Acto knife to get out the bit that's in here, which, I mean, you can kind of see in there. Yeah, there we go. I use an X-Acto knife to just basically cut away that little bit and pop it out. And then I clean it out with acetone, which when you need acetone, that does not mean nail polish remover. You need 100% pure acetone that you buy at Lowe's or Hobby Lobby or Walmart. I mean, I think pretty much you can get acetone anywhere but a grocery store nowadays. So this is what I use is acetone. Let's see. Oh, it just went away. As far as how much epoxy you use per tumbler, it depends on the size and the type, like what you're actually trying to go for. When I make tumblers, I'm making several at a time. So usually I'm just doing I'm usually doing 2 ounces of epoxy at a time because my pumps are 1 ounce, 1 ounce pumps each. Otherwise when I started out was making just 1 cup at a time, I would just do 1 full ounce of part A, and so 1 ounce total, half an ounce of part A and part B to make a cup. And then I would use the extra epoxy to make little silicone mold things for my daughter because she just liked glitter. And that way she could play with glitter and it not be messy. But that's what I would use. Let's see. Yes, I do use an X-Acto knife to clean the rim. And that's just what I've over time learned how to do. I think I did a video, but I may have done the video just in the Glitter Chimp Facebook page. I'll have to do another video on that, just to show you guys how to clean the rim. There are other tricks that you can do. You can put Vaseline on the inside of the lip, which is supposed to help with keeping the epoxy from sticking to it. But I've never done that. I just always clean it out. HTV on epoxy, absolutely you can. One of my favorite cups to make is the Wonder Woman tumbler, and I've always used HTV, which is, for those of you who don't know what HTV is, it's heat transfer vinyl. Because you can actually do some really intricate glitter work with using HTV vinyl. You would just use your heat gun to heat the epoxy a little bit after it's cured to get it to stick, and then heat it again and it'll stick. And I love using HTV on epoxy because you can get a lot more detail out of glitter that way. So does anyone else have any other questions? Because then I'm going to get into one of my favorite topics, which is the marketing and how to make money doing tumblers. And that's what everyone wants to know, is how to make more money doing cups. Okay, so let's see. How long do you apply heat for with HTV? It's typically about 2 minutes. If it gets to the point where your fingers are burning, you're doing it the right way. But yeah, I could totally do a video on that. I'm going to write that down. HTV video. Because actually you can do some really cool stuff because you use your Cricut or your different cutter, like Silhouette, to cut it out, and then you just stick it on, and it's awesome. Cure times for 1 coat of epoxy is typically going to be 4 to 6 hours. Whenever I do anything with epoxy, I will always do it at night so that I'm not tempted to touch it later. That way when I wake up in the morning, it's usually cured. At least it should be. Just broke my pen. Yay. How do you keep the decal from lifting? You want to really make sure that it's pressed on there really, really well. The main thing you need to check for is the, like on this type of a cup, you want to look for these types of little points. Any of these weird little, where it's really pointy is where you really want to make sure you've pressed it down all the way. Especially for like monograms, you really want to make sure they're on there. Oh, and then for those of you who, well, I'll talk about those in a minute. I do not seal my glitter before I epoxy it. I've just always kind of skipped that step. I mean, you can, but you don't have to. I tend to just go with it. And I do brush my tumblers before, like with a soft dry brush, just to kind of get excess glitter off. But for the most part, I just kind of go with it. It just, the glitter goes where it wants to go. It's like its own thing. If your vinyl does lift while you're epoxying it, the best and smartest thing you can do is just leave it alone and come back to fix it after it's cured. Because that way you can at least just sand it and not have to worry about it. Otherwise you can touch the epoxy too much and it can really mess up the epoxy itself. And then you get dimples and stuff and it can get really bad quickly. Okay, we're gonna shift now to discuss how to make money doing tumblers. One of the people in the Facebook group actually said, can you make a living doing tumblers? And yes, you can, absolutely. As long as you can do everything correctly and do it right, you can. So my background is sales and marketing. That's kind of what I went to school for. So I kind of had a little leg up when I started making cups because I knew kind of the proper steps to getting people to want to buy the tumblers. So the biggest thing I have to say is if you're going to start making tumblers, start making them first. Don't sell them before you've made one. A lot of people during this time of year, when they've just started out, they got everything they, for Christmas to start making tumblers, and they just start selling tumblers before they've even made a cup. What happens is this is a very fun craft, and it's really cool because you can do it with your friends, and you can make amazing gifts for people, but sometimes it doesn't work out for everybody. So you have to kind of be careful to start selling something before you make a cup. So like I said earlier, do your research. It's super duper important to watch videos, stalk all the Facebook groups. Glitter Chimp also has another page, which is Tumblers for Beginners to Advanced. And it can teach you guys so much just by seeing the people, talking about the things that they've done that have messed up, things that they've done well. It's also a really good way to see what trends are happening as far as the tumbler designs go. Right now it's January, so it's easy to be like, oh, Valentine's Day is next month. Yes, it is. However, you really need to be starting to think about the summer. So during the summertime, you have your beach cups, everyone does a lot of the pineapple tumblers. The Stand Tall, Be Sweet, and Wear a Crown, I think is what it says. That one, a lot of alcohol tumblers for the summer. Those are very important. And also a lot of the neon bright colors are very big. So you have to constantly be thinking of not what next month is, but what 3 months from now is. So you can start to work into your mental, like your brain of, I have to start thinking about this. For example, people are making Christmas tumblers starting in October and September because they're selling them for December. So you always have to be thinking of what not the next holiday is, but the next 2 holidays is, to know what the trends are that are coming. 4th of July is a huge one for tumblers because everyone wants those red, white, and blue glitter cups for their 4th of July barbecue. So yes. You want to make sure you know also your market area. Different areas can be very heavily saturated in people who make tumblers. So what my biggest suggestion is to do, which is what I did and what I know a lot of people do, make cups for yourself, make cups for your friends, but make cups and give them away. Like, I know it sounds crazy to just say you're going to give it away, but my first tumbler that I made that I thought was worthy of giving to someone, I gave to my mom. And then I made one for my aunt. And all I did was made sure to tell them, like, look, if someone, just carry it with you. If someone asks you who made it, tell them I did. And to make things easier, I put my logo on the bottom of my cups. Super smart to do because then also people can't claim that they made it. It's got your logo on the bottom. So I highly recommend you, yes. And yes, sorry, I just saw that about heavily saturated areas. So that's the best thing you can do. If your kid's in elementary school, preschool, junior high, talk to your friend, like your mom friends at school and say, hey, can I make you a cup? Tell me what you would like for me to do, and you try to make it. And you literally just either sell it to them at cost or you give it to them for free. I started out making tumblers for just some of the moms at the school that my daughter goes to. And one day, one of the teachers told me that she loves bees and that she has, she's a beekeeper. So I went online, found a cup that I liked, and started making the bee tumblers. After I made her one tumbler, she came to me the next day and was like, I need you to make me 45 of these. And every month I had to make 45 bee tumblers of the glitter and then 45 bee tumblers in wood grain. And that became like a huge thing for me because I was then making 45 to 50 cups a month just for one customer. And it was time consuming, but it was totally worth it. Because then she would take them to shows, resell them, and then it got more customers for me. And yes, teachers do love tumblers. It's so funny because that's something they can carry with them always. Other things you need to know too about marketing and sales is that you need to know your actual area. For example, where I live I live in Conroe, so North Houston area. There's a lot of people that make tumblers in this area. There's a lot of people that make tumblers and they're not very good. And they post them on Facebook in the Facebook marketplace, and they'll sell a tumbler that me personally, I would sell for 45 or 50 bucks for 20 bucks. Now, you get what you're paying for the customer. So the better the product is, the more you can sell it for. You're going to need to know what your costs are and how much your time is worth. And a lot of people do not take into account how much your time is worth. We have had customers before that have offered to drive from San Antonio to pick up 2 jars of glitter. And that's one of those things for me where it's like, good God, that's 4 hours? Is it a 4-hour drive?
3-4 hours.
3-4 hour drive to come pick up 2 jars of glitter that I could ship to you for $4. I'm like, oh my gosh. So time is important, especially when you have family, because a lot of people do this as like a little side hustle to help raise make extra money when you got kids and stuff. And it's really kind of funny because that time that you're spending away from your family is time that you're trying to make money. So you need to come up with how much you want to pay yourself per hour, because making a cup, it takes time, lots of time. Some cups will only take 30, 45 minutes to make. Other cups will take you days. To do a honeybee cup, it takes, 1, 2, 4 days from start to finish, and that doesn't count any cure times. And you're on the clock when that cup is spinning. You may not be sitting there watching it, but that's still your time because you can't put another cup on your turner at that time. So here's how this works. So I'm going to try to break it down so it's easier for you guys to know how much time, how much cost, to figure out the cost. So, okay, we will start with a jar of glitter. Easy way to start. Well, let's go with, here we go. So, okay, you have your jar of glitter. This is a basic ultra fine glitter. And this is 2 ounces, again, by weight, not volume. So this jar of glitter costs $5.45. So with that, you're going to basically, with a jar of glitter like this, you're going to probably be able to do, if you're doing a solid silver tumbler, in a 20-ounce tumbler, you'll probably be able to use probably 2 cups to 3 cups out of this, depending on the type of method you use to make your tumbler. So you would divide that by however many cups you can make out of this jar. However, you have to also include your cost of shipping because you do pay that. So you would divide that into this as well to add to your cost. Shipping is important to remember that that is a cost. You're also going to have to take into account how much the cup costs, how much your epoxy costs, and you basically just divide it out. So I buy, a gallon, 2 gallons of epoxy. Of that 2 gallons, I use typically an ounce of epoxy per cup total, and you just divide it out to give you the number of how much your epoxy cost per cup. And it's a really kind of tough thing to figure out. You can always just kind of ballpark it. Typically, for me, because of the type of tumblers that I make a lot of. So if I make 45 of these, I sell them for more than most people probably would, because I'm not saying I'm the best at it, but I would consider myself to be an expert at making these. So I can charge a little extra for this versus someone that just started making tumblers. I sell this type of a tumbler as a 30-ounce cup for about $55 to $65. And that's just because for me to make these, it takes a lot of time to make them. I mean, it takes 4 days because you're having to wait for each layer of epoxy to dry, and it gets crazy. So you're wanting to definitely make sure that you have your costs down because it's super duper important. You also need to make sure that you're checking your competitors' prices because they're your competition. You don't necessarily want to undercut them by $10, but if you can just match their price or beat them by like a buck or two, it can really help you long term to be able to maintain your area of where you live as far as keeping your customers. You will have customers that you'll tell them it's going to cost $45 for a tumbler, and they will immediately freak out and say that's insane, I'm not spending that. However, that's typically your cost for certain types of tumblers. You will also have that one customer that will try to tell you that the cup's only worth $10 when it costs you $10 just to get the cup. This is also why I never use Yeti tumblers, because a Yeti tumbler by itself is $30, and that makes your costs go super high. So that's important. You definitely need to make sure, that you know how much everything costs. It's like I said, the biggest thing is research. There's so much different things you need to really pay attention to. Also, for certain people, there are different ways that you can, as far as accounting goes, I'm not a tax expert, I'm not an accountant, but different types of aspects of owning a small business, that things in your house can get written off as part of your cost because you're using a room in your house, for example, to run your glitter, tumbler making business out of it. Again, I'm not an accountant, I'm not a tax expert. You'd have to talk to somebody about that. But I know that there are ways to do that because it is part of your business, where you're running your business. You're also definitely going to we're going to do another warehouse sale. It's just not going to be probably till the spring. But yeah, you just want to make sure that you know all of your costs and what your customers are doing. Not your customers, sorry, your competitors, because you need to make sure that your prices are adequate with what's in your area. Certain areas, you can charge a lot more for a tumbler just because of the popularity of a tumbler. Yeah. And it's really funny too, because some regions you can't really charge a lot of money for it. It just depends on where you are. Because I mean, it's the same thing as buying gas. Where I live, the gas isn't that expensive, but in California, it's like twice the price. So depending upon where you are, you need to know how much people are charging in your area. Other things you need to do is to be able to market yourself as many platforms as possible. Have a Facebook business page, have an Etsy page, definitely have an Instagram account. That's super huge because you would be surprised how many people you can pull from Instagram. when I used to share my tumblers on Instagram, I was actually able to find customers from across the country. I had never met, but it was they saw a tumbler I made on and posted on Instagram, and they were like, "Oh, I like that. Can you make it for me?" So it's just don't limit yourself to one specific thing because you have the entire world that you can sell to, especially if you market yourself appropriately. I wouldn't say that you have to have your own website because you can just use Facebook for that. But otherwise, you can use companies like Wix, Shopify. There's quite a few other small ones that you can do for like relatively cheap to make your own web address, like web page. Our Instagram page is just Glitter Chimp. We don't have as much Tumblr stuff on there anymore, but we do have a lot of glitter on there now. There's a ton of glitter on there. As far as calculating your shipping costs, I highly recommend using stamps.com because it's just easy to get all your rates on there. Otherwise, I would recommend using all of the U.S. Postal Service for their free flat rate boxes, and all their flat rate shipping is the best. You can easily fit a 30-ounce tumbler in a flat rate padded pack for the post office, which is I think $7.50 or $8 to ship with. And also if you do multiples, you can do the rate A's, B's, and medium boxes, which is the absolute best. So let's see, random question. What was the question about the glitter wall? I think it was, is it in
any particular order?
Not yet. We're trying to figure out how we're going to do it. We want to do a big rainbow, but we haven't figured out how yet. I'm having a very hard time with it because it's not alphabetical. It's just random right now. We just threw it on the wall. Oh, 900 colors behind me. And it's lit. It's gorgeous. And we can change the color too. So ready ship tumblers versus custom cut. That's a great question, Amber. Ready to ship cups are great for posting on like Etsy. Also, for any of you that do craft shows, there's a ton of craft shows in the Houston area, especially like during the fall, like fall markets, fall festivals. Farmers markets are great places to do in the summer. Like we here in Conroe, they do this huge farmers markets like it's once a month. And but yeah, there's great places that you can do that. I highly recommend too that you can do oh my gosh, like school auctions are great. You can donate a tumbler that you've already made. That helps really get your name out because then you can put your business card out next to the tumbler. But yeah, ready to make ones are great because you can, they're done, they're there. They're really great too because you will, especially during the holiday time of year, have those people that come up to you very last minute and it's I forgot to get something for my girlfriend, my wife, my teacher, my mom. And you can say, well, here's all these tumblers you can choose from. So, I loved the ready to make ones. Those are the best. Custom ones are more fun because you typically end up with some pretty crazy requests. I did a custom 64-ounce jug for my friend Ashley, which was Tiffany teal at the top, to a serape glitter in the middle, to leopard print on the bottom. And it was my favorite cup to make, but I will never do it again because it took forever and it was heavy. So that's, I think the ready to ship ones are pretty cool. Especially because you can just have them done and they're ready to go. Trying to think. What else? Styles. I wrote down styles. Styles are important. Like I said before, you need to pay attention to the holidays and the seasons that are coming up. Right now, if you're making tumblers, Valentine's Day, Easter, oh my God, I'm thinking Mardi Gras is a big one. People love those Mardi Gras cups. Wait, hold on. Do you tell your customers? So I always told my customers that the bottom of the tumbler would have my logo on the bottom. Whenever I did them, I always did them in vinyl, so that way I could make it kind of sort of disappear into the cup where it's there, but you couldn't really see, like if this is It's one of those Cricut vinyls, but I always did it just so that it was there, but kind of hidden. I did have some customers that would request I not put them on the bottom, which if they told me they didn't want it, I wouldn't put it on the bottom. I mean, I've also had customers too that want specific things on the bottom. Like some people like it to say like to mom from so-and-so. So it just depends. But I did always tell them that I was going to. Yes, and St. Patrick's Day is another one. If it's a big drinking holiday, it's people want cups for it. Yeah, that's a definite. It's a big drinking holiday. People want it. Thanksgiving is always a fun one.
Mm-hmm.
And then Christmas, because everybody has to have their "Don't Shoot Your Eye Out" kid cup, because that's the best Christmas movie. As far as I saw right above there, sports teams and licensing. So trademarked things are a no-no. Unless you have specific permission from a company, do not use their decal to make a cup because you can get in a lot of trouble. Companies that are notorious for coming after people who make tumblers, Louis Vuitton, Prada, Chanel, any of the high fashion brands will absolutely send you a cease and desist letter. And it doesn't matter if you've made one tumbler or 100 tumblers, they will stop you from doing it. Now, I have had customers come to me with a decal from a sports team that they themselves bought from a Texans game or an Astros game, and I will put it on a tumbler, but I will not post any pictures of it or anything of that. But it's that customer has to bring it to me, and that's just what they want on a cup. Otherwise, I will not post it. I won't do anything with it, because there's a lot of gray area as far as what you are allowed and are not allowed to do. Excuse me. So I avoid trademarked things as much as I possibly can. You will have people that will request tumblers, like Frozen themed tumblers and different types of things like that. You just have to be very careful to what you are doing. Have I ever received a cease and desist letter? I have not. I've never have, but my tumblers that I typically make are strictly going to, the ones that I always make are just for people that they put their initials on, or they have some little snippy, snappy saying that are funny. I try to avoid making any sports teams tumblers. I did do a Chicago Blackhawks tumbler that looked like a jersey, but it didn't have anything on it other than my brother-in-law's last name in the font, as well as the jersey number he liked. I try not to do anything that could be considered trademark infringement. So, I'm not an attorney, so I'm not the best person to give legal advice on this. But it's up to the creator themselves to determine if they want to do that or not. I just personally do not. As far as I saw somebody said an SVG file, with sharing SVG files, you have to be very careful. Because the creator of that file may not have approved for it to be shared publicly. If you made a file yourself and you want to share it, you can absolutely share it. But if you go on to Etsy and buy an SVG file from somebody online and then go into a Tumblr group and share it to everybody, I guarantee you that is not allowed. SVGs are typically protected by the person who created it. Whenever you purchase things on Etsy, you'll be able to actually go into, like, whenever they send you the notification, it sends you it says this is for personal use only, not for resale, not to be shared. It's the same thing where you cannot just go into Google and just type in, a picture of, I'm trying to think of like anything, really.
Yeah.
Like, you can't type Elsa into Google, find a picture, copy it, like save it, and then paste it into your Silhouette software and erase it and reprint it. that is definitely a no-no. That's like the epitome of like stealing. So yeah, that's one of the biggest no-nos in the world of art. So yeah. Yes. Thank you, Michelle. That's the word. Commercial licensing.
Yeah.
I saw something a second ago. Now I can't find it. Wait. Oh, look.
How
I
do you
can.
invoice your customers?
Thank you. That's what it was. Okay. So to invoice my customers, I would always send them an invoice via PayPal where I could fully put in a complete description of the tumbler and the cost, as well as would put a lead time in there. Typical lead time for me to turn around a cup is 3 to 4 weeks. Some people can make them faster. It's just whenever I have a bunch of orders, I just say 3 to 4 weeks. It gives me extra time in case I mess up on anything. It just depends on the time of year. During going into Christmas, I always cut off my Christmas orders by November 15th. That way I have plenty of time to make all of the tumblers. So
Mention the care cards. Did you already mention that?
no, I did not. Thank you. There are tumbler care cards that you can include with your tumblers. We have a file on our website that you can buy. That it's like $1 and you can use it and print it and put your own logo on the top and do whatever you want with it. But it tells you the proper care for all of your customers to know how to take care of their tumblers. Plus it has your information on it so they can always contact you again. Okay, so logos. All right, so the Glitter Chimp name came from a culmination of a lot of different things. Basically, my dad came up with the name. If you're watching, thanks, Dad. Because chimps are cute, and I could make a really cool logo with it. But I wanted to make sure glitter was in my name, and Glitter Chimp kind of just worked well. It was a happy accident. My background, like I said earlier, is in kind of sales marketing. I went to school for radio, television production. So I know how to use Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator and a bunch of different programs. So I was able to make my own logo using Photoshop, which is the chimp, which his name is Gizmo, if anybody cares to know. But it's very easy to find ways to make your own logos. You can use different companies like, oh my gosh, now I'm blanking. Not Shutterfly. It's not Shutterfly.
Where are you going with this?
I have no idea. I'm totally blanking. I'm tired. I need to go to bed. I'll remember it after the video too. There's a website you can go to where you can download vectors and you can just type in different things and it'll pop up different like designs and stuff for you of Shutterstock. Thank you, Brittany. Not Shutterfly. Oh my God. Shutterstock is where you can get a lot of really great stock images to build your own logo from, because you're paying for the image. You do have to make sure to read the fine print because some of them are not to be used for retail or commercial use. But there are a lot of really good images online that way. Do not just go through Google and type in Bohemian skull and use the picture. Can't do that. It's very important that you don't do things like that. So, applying larger decals. The biggest decal I've ever done, it was like, well, it's not the biggest. Probably this one. This is a very big decal, but I needed it to be flashy. I always start from the middle and work my way out with I always would do 2 sheets of transfer vinyl, transfer tape on the back so that I could start in the middle and work my way out. It tends to help it slowly roll off without bubbling. If you do get really big bubbles, you can poke a little hole with like a pin and just smooth it out is one way to do it too. And you can and if you do it too big of a hole and you can kind of see it, you can hide it by using a glitter additive to the epoxy, such as a Diva or Gangster glitter, and you mix it with your final coat of epoxy and the sparkle will help hide that as well as micro bubbles. So if anyone else though has any questions, this has turned into a very long video. So I'm sorry, but for those of you that are still here with me, oh my gosh, you're amazing. So if anybody has any questions, let me know, because I don't really have anything else on my list of things to talk about.
And then the video will be.
Oh yeah, the video will be available forever because it's on YouTube. So
Make sure you're subscribed.
make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell button so you get notified when we do more videos. Okay, so water slides. I love water slide. I don't have any water slide here. Nope, I don't. But I'll actually need to do a video on water slide because that's actually one of my favorite and most easiest things. I can't spell slide. Ay, ay, ay. So yeah, water slide. I'll do a video on those because those are super fun. So how do I level like my tumblers? Oh, magic. Sometimes they're not that level. I always just try to make sure, like, there's a meme of a person where they're like hunched over and they look like they're breathing heavy. That's literally me watching my tumbler spin for like 10 minutes before I start putting in epoxy. Let's see.
A video on patching epoxy.
Oh, I've done that many a time. I'm writing that down. Patch epoxy. I've done that twice.
Mod Podge and tack.
Okay, so what is the difference between Mod Podge and tack method? So Mod Podge method is literally just putting the Mod Podge on the tumbler and you just sprinkle the Mod Podge the glitter on top of the Mod Podge and it just dries. I actually used to do Mod Podge method for my modified swirls, but now I use the epoxy method because it's just, you get more work time out of it. The tack it method though is using, when you put the glitter on the tumbler, you rub it down flat so that it makes it have a really amazing, like the holographic glitter especially has a cool effect. Ooh, or somebody the other day in Glitter Chimp posted, they did Snake in the Grass with the tack it method, and oh my god, that cup blew my mind. If that person is watching this video, that tumbler blew my mind. You need to put my name on it and just send it to our warehouse and I will use it every day. Just put something fun on it. Like a little smart ass comment. Okay, hold on. Do you recommend me post tumblers with Glitter Chimp? So I have a Facebook group, which is Glitter Chimp on Facebook, which is a Facebook group. You can post them there, but also on our website, we have a way that you can add the pictures to the site so that other people can also see it, which is awesome. But I always love seeing everybody's tumblers. I spent all day online. I could probably comment on everybody's pictures because all of them blow my mind. I especially love when people do the modified swirls because I kind of created that design, so it's fun to see other people make it. Hey, Keely, I'm staring at you. Sorry. She's right there. It's weird. Everybody say hi to Keely. Hi, Keely.
Hey.
We've been at work since 7:30. It's 8:30. Woohoo! And by 7:30, I mean this morning. I have never used tattoo paper. I've only done water slide, and I use an inkjet printer, so I always buy, it's called Blingasm on Amazon. Look, everyone's saying hi to you.
I see that. They spell my name right, too.
They
It's
do.
crazy.
So that's, I always use the inkjet water slide from Blingasm, which you can buy on Amazon. You have 500 people saying hi to you. So that's what I use. I find it to be the best and the easiest to work with. So
Inkjet printer.
I use an inkjet, but you can also do, they have another kind. There's two.
Laser?
Thank you. Laser printers. They have both kinds. I use the inkjet, and whenever you print it, you put it on photo like your printer set it up to photo so that it prints like crazy clear images. So I'm trying to see, hold on. Why does fine glitter look patchy in areas? Typically, if your glitter looks patchy using the epoxy method, it means there's too much glitter. Like it's just, it got heavy in that section. The best way to hide that is that's where your decal goes. Kind of helps hide it a little bit. That's at least what I do when that happens. But usually that means that the ultrafine glitter is actually standing upright because it's so thick in that area. Also, it could mean that you put too much epoxy. There's too much epoxy in that area. There's just two different things, but you can hide it with a decal. Or if you're really like picky, you can just redo it. Okay, what glitter? Oh, okay. Red tumbler. This is Boomer right here. Velvet. It's got Dorothy holographic chunky, bright gold jumbo, Raven chunky, copper ultra fine. I'm trying to do this all while looking at it. Velvet chunky, Dorothy chunky, and more Boomer chunky. That is what's on here. I actually have the list now on my computer and I can share it later. But this is my favorite. This was the third tumbler I ever made, guys. Right here.
It's gorgeous.
This is my favorite. So yeah, so that's what's on that tumbler. But I'll post it in the Glitter Chimp Facebook page, and I'll put it in the notes, the comments below as well. But that's what's on that tumbler. So that's all I have for tonight, guys. This was a really long video. So I'm glad you guys were able to watch. I will try to stay around to answer any questions and videos that I possibly can. I swear to God, Michael. And now it's a disco party. It's not doing the rainbow, though. Ha ha. Whoa. This is now how... There we go. This is how we're going to end the video. It's trippy. Oh, my gosh. Aren't y'all glad this wasn't going the whole time? Oh, my goodness.
I've been waiting for you to do that.
Okay. I do need some music. All right, y'all. That's the cue that it's time to stop. Oh, my goodness. He's so proud of his lighting. Special thanks to Adam, to Keely's husband, Adam, for building the wall, and to my husband, Michael, for putting the lights and
Yes.
stuff on the wall. Oh, God. There we go. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
I promise you guys I will do a whole thing on this wall later. It holds 900 jars of glitter. Woohoo! And no, Devin, I did not start... I did not start selling glitter first. I started making tumblers way before I started doing glitter. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe below because we're going to do a ton more videos on, everything. So we will make sure to figure out what day we're going to do the warehouse sale here at Glitter Chimp. It's going to be in the spring, but I don't know what day yet or month. But then you get to come here and actually shop in the warehouse. Woohoo! And yeah, so thank you guys so much. I've got a list of videos now that I know I need to do for you guys so you guys can learn everything you possibly can about tumblers. And you guys have an amazing night. Thank you again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video below. Woohoo! So it's a big old party behind me. And you guys have a great, great night. And I have to figure out how to turn this off. This is going to be fun. It won't stop. All right, y'all. Have a good night.